They say character is who you are when no one's watching. But what happens when doing the right thing puts your life in danger? This is the story of a man who had nothing and yet gave everything. A story that will make you question, who are the real thieves in this world? It was a cold November morning in Chicago. The kind of morning that bites through your jacket and into your bones. On the corner of 5th and Lakeview, a man named Eli Turner sat huddled beside a dumpster. A tattered coat his only protection from the wind. Eli had been homeless for nearly 2 years. Once a skilled mechanic, he'd lost everything after his garage was shut down in a corporate dispute. His wife left, his savings drained, and with no family to turn to, the streets became home. But fate has a strange sense of timing. That morning, while searching through a trash bin for half-eaten sandwiches, Eli found something unexpected. A wallet, brown leather, sleek, and expensive, the kind that belongs to a man who never skips a meal. Inside, $1,200 in cash, a platinum credit card, and a business card that read, James Rothwell, CEO, Rothwell Automotive Group. Eli froze. Rothwell Automotive, the very corporation that had bought and bankrupted his small town garage 2 years earlier. For a moment, his hands trembled. He could take the money, vanish, buy a bus ticket to another state. Who would ever know? But Eli wasn't that kind of man. He stared at the wallet, whispered under his breath, doing right still matters. So, against every instinct for survival, he walked 5 miles through the city to return it. When Eli arrived at Rothwell Automotive headquarters, the receptionist looked him up and down, eyes lingering on his torn coat and dirt-streaked face. Sir, she said curtly, we don't accept solicitation here. Eli's voice was calm but weary. I'm not asking for money. I'm here to return something that belongs to Mr. Rothwell. Security was called before he could finish his sentence. Moments later, 2 guards escorted him out. But before he left, a man in a navy suit stepped out of the elevator. James Rothwell himself. Rothwell was everything Eli wasn't. Sharp, powerful, perfectly pressed. When their eyes met, something shifted. Eli held out the wallet. Found this near the bus station, he said quietly. Rothwell blinked, surprised. He checked the contents, all intact. You didn't take anything. Eli shook his head. Didn't see the point. Wasn't mine to take. Rothwell's lips curled into a faint smirk. Well, he said, reaching into his pocket. Here's $50 for your honesty. Eli hesitated, then refused. I didn't do it for money, sir. Rothwell's smirk faded. He turned away, dismissive. Suit yourself, he muttered. Next time, don't waste my time. And just like that, Eli was escorted back out into the cold. For 3 days, Eli didn't eat. He sat under the same bridge he always had, shivering, wondering if doing good was worth it anymore. But then, something strange happened. News broke across every channel. James Rothwell had been arrested for embezzlement, fraud, and tax evasion. The man Eli had tried to help was now facing 20 years in prison. It seemed like poetic justice, but fate wasn't finished with Eli yet. Because within days of Rothwell's arrest, detectives discovered something unexpected. An anonymous call that had tipped them off about Rothwell's offshore accounts. The voice on the tape. Raspy, nervous, familiar. It was Eli Turner. Eli hadn't meant to get involved. But when he returned the wallet, he noticed a folded document inside, a list of shell companies. At first, he didn't understand it. But after seeing Rothwell's arrogance, something inside him snapped. That night, while the CEO slept in his luxury condo, Eli made the anonymous call. He didn't ask for a reward. He just wanted justice. The investigation blew open a billion-dollar fraud. Hundreds of laid-off workers finally received settlements they were owed. And for the first time in years, Eli slept peacefully. Until the story broke. Anonymous whistleblower exposes Rothwell automotive scandal. Rothwell's lawyers were furious. They were determined to find who leaked the information. And when the police mentioned a homeless man had recently returned Rothwell's wallet, everything began to line up. It was 2 a.m. when a black sedan pulled up under the bridge. 2 men stepped out. They weren't cops. Eli woke to the sound of gravel crunching. A flashlight hit his face. Eli Turner. One of them asked. He nodded slowly. Boss wants a word. Before Eli could react, he was shoved into the backseat. The car sped into the night. When Eli's blindfold came off, he was sitting in an empty warehouse. In front of him, a man in handcuffs, flanked by 2 guards. James Rothwell. His suit was gone, replaced by an orange jumpsuit. His eyes, once full of arrogance, now burned with desperation. "You ruined me," Rothwell hissed. "You think this makes you some kind of hero?" Eli met his gaze calmly. "I didn't ruin you. You did that yourself." Rothwell sneered. "You think people care about you now? You're still trash. And when I'm out, you'll wish you'd never touched that wallet." Eli stood up, quiet, steady. "Maybe, but at least I'll sleep knowing I did the right thing." As the guards led Rothwell away, one whispered something to Eli. "Not everyone in this world forgets who the good men are." He handed Eli a small envelope. Inside a check. $100,000. Signed anonymously. Eli used the money to open a small repair shop, the same kind he'd lost years ago. He hired others who'd fallen on hard times, giving them the second chance no one had given him. The sign above the door read simply, "Turner's Honest Auto." For a while, life was peaceful. Customers came, stories spread, and Eli became something he never expected to be again. Respected. But justice doesn't always rest easy. 6 months later, a police cruiser pulled up to his shop. 2 detectives stepped out, holding a folder. "Mr. Turner," one said grimly, "we need you to come with us." Eli frowned. "What's this about?" The detective opened the file, revealing bank transfers, all tied to his name. Offshore accounts. Fraudulent wiring. Millions missing. Eli froze. The same crimes Rothwell had been charged with were now under his name. As the cuffs clicked shut, the detective whispered, "Looks like someone's setting you up." In a world where truth is twisted by power, doing the right thing doesn't always mean you'll be safe. But as Eli looked up at the flashing red lights, one thought burned in his mind. If they think this is over, they're wrong. Eli Turner sat in the back of the police cruiser, the flashing red and blue lights painting his face with guilt he didn't deserve. The same city that once ignored him was now watching. Only this time, it was with suspicion. Inside the station, detectives questioned him for hours. Bank statements, offshore accounts, transfers made in his name. Each piece of evidence stacked against him like bricks in a wall he couldn't climb. "I didn't do this," Eli said, his voice cracking. "You've got to believe me." Detective Harris, a seasoned officer with tired eyes, leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Turner, these accounts were created using your ID and signature. Your name's all over it." "My ID? My signature? I never..." Eli stopped mid-sentence, realization dawning on him. He hadn't had a valid ID for years. Until recently. A month earlier, he'd hired a private accountant, a man named Mark Levin, to help him register his shop legally. Mark had seemed professional, even kind. He'd handled the business paperwork, helped Eli get a new ID, opened a business account, and filed taxes on his behalf. And now, all the trust had turned into a noose around his neck. Eli was thrown into a holding cell overnight. Cold metal bench. No blanket. No answers. But through the silence, a thought gnawed at him. Rothwell. Could this be revenge from the man he'd exposed? Even from prison, James Rothwell had connections, powerful ones. Men who owed him favors. Men who could forge a trail of evidence without lifting a finger. The next morning, Detective Harris returned. "You've got a visitor." Eli looked up, expecting his lawyer. Instead, it was Rachel Rothwell, James Rothwell's daughter. Rachel was nothing like her father. Where he was arrogant, she was quiet. Her dark eyes held both pain and determination. "Eli Turner," she said softly, "I know what my father did to you, and I know he's not done yet." Eli frowned. "You believe I'm innocent?" She nodded. "I work in the legal department at Rothwell Automotive. I've seen the documents and the forged accounts. They were created by one of my father's former partners, Mark Levin." Eli's jaw tightened. "Levin?" Rachel nodded again. "He wasn't just your accountant. He was one of my father's fixers. He's been moving money through fake accounts for years. And when my father went down, Levin went rogue, setting you up as a fall guy." Eli leaned forward. "Then help me prove it." Rachel hesitated. "I can't do it officially. Not yet. But there's a drive, a backup copy of my father's financial records. It's hidden in the company's off-site storage. It has everything, including Levin's transactions." Eli stared at her, unsure if he could trust her. But at that moment, trust was all he had left. 2 nights later, Rachel arranged for Eli's bail through a silent donor. When he stepped out into the night air, he was a free man, at least for now. But freedom meant nothing without the truth. They met at an abandoned warehouse on the city's edge. Rachel handed him a set of keys and a flashlight. "The drive is in a safe, inside the old Rothwell Records building. But it's guarded. Cameras, security patrols, you'll need to be careful." Eli chuckled dryly. "I fixed engines, not break into vaults." Rachel smiled faintly. "Then I guess tonight you'll learn something new." The night was quiet. Too quiet. Eli moved through the storage yard, slipping past a fence and toward the dimly lit office. Every creak of the floorboards made his heart pound. He found the safe behind an old filing cabinet, just where Rachel said it would be. She'd given him the code, 1127, her father's birthday. The door clicked open. Inside, a small silver flash drive gleamed under the light. As he grabbed it, the sound of a gun cocking froze him in place. "Don't move, Turner." It was Mark Levin. Levin stepped from the shadows, dressed in black, gun steady in his hand. "I warned Rothwell not to trust you," he sneered. But he never listened. Eli turned slowly, hands raised. "Why me, Levin? Why frame me?" Levin smirked. "Because you're the perfect scapegoat. A homeless nobody with a redemption story. The media ate it up. And now, when the money trail leads to you, no one will question it." Eli's eyes darted toward a nearby exit. "So what now? You kill me." Levin chuckled. "No, Turner. You're going to disappear. The world will think you ran with the money. Case closed." He raised the gun. Before he could pull the trigger, headlights flashed through the window. A car door slammed. Rachel's voice echoed from outside. "Eli, get down." Levin fired. The bullet missed by inches. Eli dove behind the desk, grabbed a wrench from the floor, pure instinct from years as a mechanic, and swung. The gun flew from Levin's hand. They struggled, crashing through old furniture, until Levin slammed him into the wall. "Stay down." Levin growled. But Eli wasn't that man anymore. He grabbed the wrench again and struck. Levin collapsed, unconscious. Breathing hard, Eli picked up the flash drive and staggered outside. Rachel ran toward him. "Are you okay?" He nodded. "It's over.